What's up, everyone? In this video we're going to be investigating graphs. In particular, we're going to be looking at intercepts of a graph and the maximum and minimum values. You need a sheet of graph paper for this, a pencil, and a straight edge like a ruler. And let me explain what I want you to do before we even start any of the examples. So what I want you to do is fold your graph paper in half like you can see in these pictures. And I want you to make four very neat coordinate axes. Label them example 1, 2, 3, and 4. I don't want you to freehand these graphs. I want you to use your ruler or straight edge to make nice neat lines here for these. We're going to be using these not only in the notes for this video, but we're going to be using them in class again. So it's really important that you make neat graphs. If it's not neat, it's no good. Alright? And you want to leave yourself a nice bit of room on the right because we're going to be adding some things in here. So best thing to do is pause the video here, get your graph paper ready, and then resume. Alright, let's get on to the examples. So what you should do here is copy down this graph neatly as possible. Use your straight edge, and when you write down, this is the information we're going to take down. Leave some room at the bottom because we're going to fill in some stuff in class as well. So again, pause the video here, copy this graph down nice and neat, and then we'll start back up. Alright, so you're ready. So we got a graph here, and it's kind of broken up into some parts here. It looks like it's increasing from here, kind of levels off, and then it starts decreasing here. But what we're really looking for in this is just a couple things. The first thing is the x-intercepts. The x-intercept is pretty self-explanatory. It's where does this graph cross the x-axis. So our x-axis is right here, and it only crosses it in one spot at -3. So all we have to say for the x-intercept here is it's at -3. The y-intercepts are where this graph crosses the y-axis, and the y-axis is our vertical axis here. It only crosses it in one spot here at 2. The minimum and maximum both refer to the y value. The minimum is the lowest possible y value you see, and the maximum is the highest. So let's start with the minimum. The lowest y value we see is down here at this point here, and the y value of that is at -2. We can see that's at -2. So the minimum we just say is -2. And the maximum is the highest, so it kind of flattens out up here. So and that happens to be at a y value of 2. That's the highest value. And that's it. So we got our two intercepts and our minimum and maximum. All right, on to the next graph. Again, pause the video here, copy this down, and then resume it when you're ready. Okay. X-intercepts. Where's it across the x-axis? Again, only in one spot. It's right here at -2. Y-intercept only crosses the y-axis at one spot. That would be right here at 3. The minimum value, the lowest y value, well, we can see it's pretty clear here. It starts down here, right at this point, and the y value there is a -3. Maximum, this is where it gets a little interesting. Since this is a ray, actually, because it starts at a point and goes infinitely up in this direction, this arrowhead tells us it never stops going up. So the way we can represent that is it's infinity. The highest value, the maximum, is infinity. So that's what we put down. And it looks like this sideways 8. I know you've seen this before. And I'll even put in parentheses infinity. We don't have to write that every time. The symbol is good enough, but just for this first time, the maximum value is infinity because it infinitely goes up. All right, on to example 3. All right, so what we got here is a parabola. Again, pause the video, sketch this as best you can. All right, so this parabola, its x-intercepts. Well, it actually crosses the x-axis in 2 spots. Crosses here at -1 and at 3. So it's okay that it has 2. We just list them both. So it crosses at -1 and +3. For y-intercepts, it only crosses once right here at -4. The minimum value, it's a parabola that opens up, so it actually does have a minimum value right down here at the turning point. This is called the vertex of the parabola, but it's at a y value of -5. And the maximum, this is kind of similar to the last example we had. The maximum, this one points up with the arrowheads towards positive infinity for y. So again, the maximum is infinity. All right, one more example. This is what's called an absolute value function. Pause the video here, copy this graph down nice and neat, and then resume it. Okay. The x-intercepts. It looks like it crosses the x-axis twice at 1 and 3. Y-intercepts. It only crosses the y-axis once here at -3. The minimum value. Well, this one points down. Points down, and the arrowhead again means it goes down infinitely. But it's not positive infinity that it goes down to, it's negative infinity. So we just say negative infinity. This does have a maximum value. This peak right here, the maximum y value looks to be 3. And that's it. So these are 4 good examples to show you the intercepts and the minimum and maximum values. So let's get to the SIA questions. 2 questions. You don't even have to copy these down. Just look at the picture and write down what are the intercepts, the x and y intercepts, and the maximum and minimum values. Again, you don't have to copy these diagrams down. Just look at the picture here and write down your answers. Put them in the quiz, and you are all set. Thanks for listening.